Recently, I created something. And it's really, really nice. I created something out of a need that I saw, in combination with a skill that I had. And I'm going to tell you about the skill. A skill which enabled me to create something that wasn't there before. And a skill, because of my experience in my career, a skill that I know will be able to, this thing that I created will work. It will even work on other levels which I have not gone into yet, but I'll share those with you in a moment, okay? Recently I created a forum, and it's called Real Men Forum. Its purpose, blah, 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 okay? But I'm excited about this forum because it is now a reality. And it is a reality because of a skill that I applied. It's a skill I was not taught. It's a skill I learned, self-taught. So if I could do it, and if you were born with a brain like I was, perhaps you can do something similar. Not the same thing, but using the skill, you can do something similar. You could even do something greater. Let me tell you what that is. I used a skill called critical thinking. Actually, there's two skills that I used in creating this forum. I used critical thinking and creative thinking. I'm not going to talk about the creative thinking now. The creative thinking essentially created the idea, spotted the opportunity. But it's the critical thinking that then went to work to produce something solid and now, of course, something real. So I'm going to talk to you about critical thinking. I'm going to tell you three things about it tonight. Number one, I'm going to tell you the importance of it. I'm going to tell you the benefits of being able to think critically. And I'm going to very briefly tell you how to do it. Now, it is a lifelong process, the ability to think critically. However, if you know some of the how-to steps, I think you can get started. Perhaps you can take your very first step into the world of critical thinking and to experience the wonderful benefits that it provides. Okay? So, if we've got time, I will also talk about an application of it in Toastmasters, specifically in the speech evaluation. Okay, if you've got time. So first of all, what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is very straightforward. And it needs to be, because it needs to cut through all the complexity of life, all the information that we are bombarded by, so that we can have something that is straightforward. You follow me? Critical thinking will help you get clear about things. It's really two things, but it affects everything. It is the ability to think clearly, logically, or what's the word I use here? Rational, okay? Rationally. That means logically. About two things. About what to do, okay? What to do in life, as well as what to believe. Now you can believe whatever you want. And you can do whatever you want. But if you apply the skill of critical thinking, it will lead you to certain things. And I'll tell you about those in this next video. Why critical thinking? Okay? Why critical thinking? So why would we want to be led to particular things? Why don't we just accept whatever we've been conditioned by, whatever we've been told, whatever the school tells us, whatever the parents tell us, whatever the church, the temple, the mosque tells us, or indeed the government? Why not just believe those things? There are benefits to not believing those things without the filter. Having the filter of critical thinking has benefits, and it means you can do this, okay? So why think critically? Very simply, all the things that I've described, all the conditioning I've just described, is the reason why we need to think critically. Because we are surrounded. Now, what are we surrounded by? We're surrounded by what the school tells us, what education tells us, what what our parents tell us, what our culture tells us, what our government tells us, what our church or religious authorities tell us. We're surrounded by all these things. And then we have the internet. So we're surrounded by random stuff as well. Constantly bombarded by information that mostly pretends to be true, right? School pretends the information is true. The religious authorities pretend the information is true. The government pretends the information is true. Everyone pretends the information is true. Wow, so much truth. It's amazing, so much truth. We need critical thinking because we're surrounded by, and I'm going to use a very strong word, but understand the context, please. We are surrounded by stupidity. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not everything is true. Not everything we read or told is true. You follow me? Some of it is stupidity. I'm not saying that what your parents tell you is all wrong. I'm saying that if you take the filter and the skill of critical thinking, you will be able to discern what is right and what isn't. Do you follow me? Because some stuff isn't. Some stuff is superstition. You can follow it, it's fine. Culturally, if you want to do that, it's fine. If you want to be entertained by it, also it's fine. You want to watch Astro for entertainment, it's fine. But doesn't mean you believe everything you see on TV. Okay, if Liverpool score one goal, you can believe them. Because that's all they can score. We are surrounded, right? We're just surrounded by stuff, by information. And we don't know what is true unless we have a skill to decide. Another benefit of critical thinking, it can provide you with a power, a superpower in fact, and that is the power of a brilliant mindset. Now, when I started working after university, this is overseas when I went to university, so my parents spent a lot of money on my overseas education, and this is of course many, many years ago. It still costs a lot of money. When I came back to Penang, I started working in a job that was able to cover my car loan. Even if I had the octopus card, so I can cover the car loan. So I needed to change, right? I needed to do something to improve that situation because I wasn't even making a profit. You know, spent all the money on education, and now I can barely cover the car loan. So I decided two things in my mindset. I decided two things. I decided, number one, in whatever job I'm in, I'm going to learn a skill. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time because it's not paying enough. And number two, I decided that I'm going to switch. When the opportunity comes up, I'm going to switch. And every time I switch, I decided, this is a mindset thing. You can decide whatever you want. I decided this. I'm going to double my salary. With every switch, I will double. And then I had a little plan, whatever. Eventually, from Penang, I went to KL, and from KL, I went to spend some time in KL, I went to Singapore. And when I switched, I doubled. When I switched, I doubled. When I switched, I doubled. When I reached Singapore, it's more than double. It was more than I expected. Okay? It's all mindset. I just decided that's what it's going to be. I'm just not going to accept anything else. Just mindset. So, the powerful mindset is really, it can be financially very, very viable. Okay? Right, now, benefits? Well, I mentioned the financial. Okay? I was able to create, when I reached Singapore, after I worked there in the corporate environment, I left it. Why? Because I wasn't happy getting corporate pay. I just wasn't. I mean, it was great, right? You could afford the stuff that everyone else can afford, you know. But I wasn't happy with it. I wanted more. I wanted, twice as much. I wasn't happy with, whatever the managers were getting at the time. I think it's 50,000 Singapore. I wasn't happy with that. And this is like 25 years ago. I wanted more. I wanted to double it. So I decided I'm going to have to use some skills which I wasn't taught: critical thinking, creative thinking. So I used those two things and created a business for myself in the thing that I could do, and that is deliver presentations, to teach. But as a business, eventually I was Singapore's highest paid teacher. In a sense, everyone called me that. Why? Because I pulled in $500,000 a year as a teacher. I mean, I was teaching, but it was my business because I designed it. When I thought critically about things, I I was able to do that. So it has financial reward. So you can do more than that. So I was earning 10 times what I was earning in the corporate world. I never expected that. But when you think critically, obviously a lot of hard work as well. Stuff can happen. Do you guys follow me? Stuff can really happen. Another benefit is this. You can arrive at what is real. Truth. Because my mindset was, I don't want to live a life that is just pretending to be happy. Or a life that is, always negative. I didn't want either extreme. I wanted what's real. I just wanted what was real, which meant I needed to find out what was true. I asked some really basic questions. You can ask whatever questions you want, okay? But I asked some really basic questions. We'll get to that. If I can get to that now. This is how to, alright? I asked some basic questions. The first step in critical thinking is to ask questions. To question everything. You can ask questions about whatever you want to ask. For me, I went all the way. It took me a few years, but I eventually asked the most basic question: is there a God? I asked that question. You know what? No one since has been able to answer that. They tried. They've tried. But whenever they try, I still have the basic question. Okay, if there was, where was he when the aeroplane went down? And there's 100,000 examples of where was he when this happened, this happened, this happened. Where was he in World War II? Where was he when the bombs went off? Where was he? So these are the questions that I ask. You can ask your own questions. It's your life. Do not follow mine, please. Okay? If you want to, that's fine, but it's your life. So what you do with those questions is your business. Okay? But it's very powerful. So that's the first thing. Question everything. Secondly, reflect on it. This is where you take quiet time. So some people go on spiritual retreats to look for themselves. Well, I don't know what they're going just for the massage or whatever. But yes, you need to look for yourself. What the truth for you. Question your condition. Because finally, you want to produce a very simple thing, common word, an opinion. There are opinions flying around everywhere. You have your own opinions. My question to you is, what is your opinion based on? Is it based on the thing that flashed on your Facebook newsfeed today because your friend said, choose happiness, and that's now your opinion? Or is it something you evaluated the evidence for? You questioned it, you evaluated the evidence, and then you reflected on it and formulated an opinion. So there are two categories of opinion. One is based on critical thinking, and one that is based on whatever wind of opinion goes by your Facebook page. Thank you, Facebook, for that. Everyone has an opinion. My opinion, I think your opinion is crap. My opinion. You see what I'm saying? Most opinions aren't worth anything. Why? Because they don't apply the skill that we're talking about now. They just simply don't. Suka-suka. Suka-suka opinion is, you also can treat it like suka-suka entertainment. You follow me? When someone is able to say, look, I've evaluated this, the evidence. Now I think this. That person you hang around. Or you hang out with that guy. Okay. Right. How am I doing for time? Okay. A few more minutes. There's some things to do. I mentioned this, right? Evaluate the evidence. Ini bukan suka-suka punya now. Evaluate the evidence. Look to the experience you just experienced and see what is real in it and evaluate that. Judge it on those criteria. Where was he when the plane went down? For me, I judge on that criteria. If he showed up and saved the plane, I would believe him. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's just me. Okay, you can do what you want. And put aside this is a huge thing which we just we bathe in this stuff called conditioning. We bathe in it, we breathe it, and then it comes out of our mouth again without thinking. Conditioning. Another word is brainwashing, but I think no one goes and tries to brainwash you. But they do tell you things that you grow up. Right? They tell you this, they tell you that, they tell you this. Eventually, guess what? All the pantans, you also tell your children. There's no scientific basis, but you tell the children, it's okay, because you're, in a sense, it's a cultural, part of the cultural identity. It's alright. You don't have to shoot everything down. But just understand what it is. Just understand that that maybe there's no such thing as ghost love, but never mind, we can, culturally we celebrate, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. You don't have to shoot everything down, but you have to understand what is real and what is not. You follow? Follow. And some things to beware of. Beware of this. Everyone does this, especially when they're new to this skill. They jump to conclusions. If the evidence does not support the conclusion, don't jump. Just admit the evidence don't support a conclusion yet. It's okay. The world will still go on. You can still eat your chicken rice as well. You don't have to find a conclusion so fast. It's okay. And avoid this. We do this a lot in Toastmasters. At the end of the speech, we moralize. What does moralize mean? Therefore, be good people. Moralize. We are so stupid that you have to tell us that. You know what I mean? So, be happy always. That's kind of moralizing as well. It's unnecessary, really. You don't have to tell people these things. Present them with evidence, draw a conclusion, but you don't have to moralize it. You don't have to moralize. In Malaysia, every essay we write, now we don't write essays anymore. Every essay we write at the end, we have a moral to the story, right? Try to change that. Why? Because the moral is lazy thinking. You are picking out the conditioning and putting it in your essay. That's what it is. You see what I'm saying? You're just picking up the conditioning and putting it down there. Think first. Draw your conclusions from your evidence. You will benefit in ways that even I couldn't have imagined, as I have. Right? Okay. Quick application. Speech evaluation. Yeah. Okay. Quick application. Sometimes you hear a speech evaluator, and quite often you hear a speech evaluator suggest that the speaker dramatize the speech. Have you heard this? Yes. It happens quite a lot. The truth is that if you pass it through the filters of critical thinking, the truth is that the speaker bored the audience. That's the truth. True enough. The audience were bored. But the evaluator did not have the courage to say it. Now, I'm not suggesting you wouldn't tell people you're boring now. You've got to be encouraging, okay? You've got to find a way. But by suggesting drama, this is what you are doing. You are jumping to conclusions. You are following conditioning. Let me tell you what it looks like to someone who's able to think critically. What it looks like when you suggest drama as a solution to the speaker's problem, it suggests to me this, that you do not understand the nature of drama. Drama is an art form, yes? Okay. Would you suggest for the next speech, the speaker, to improve the speech, the speaker paint a Picasso? Would you suggest that? You wouldn't, right? Number one, because you know the speaker, this has got nothing to do with the speech. Not only that, how can the speaker create a Picasso? So why are you suggesting drama? Drama is an art form. It's a specialized art form. Would you suggest would you prescribe medicine when you're not a qualified doctor? You wouldn't, right? Why are you prescribing drama as the solution to the ailment when you're not a qualified dramatist? Do you follow me? So when someone suggests drama as the solution to the problem here, it might be the solution, but is the evaluator qualified to say it? In my mind, I'm going to do alamak. This is my thought process. It's really useful because you will then have to find another way to encourage the speaker. You might have to specifically say things like, look, you lost the connection with your audience now. I mean, that's why people are watching. You lost the connection. You've got to look at this. You've got to look at the content. Maybe too much data. So now we're getting into things that the speaker can change. We're going to dance for what? Too much data. Too much data. So next time I simplify. That won't be. And then, talk to the people. Talk to the audience. Don't get caught in it. You know what I mean? These are things that they can do to improve the speech. Now we're talking. Rather than this, it was boring, so drama is not a solution. No, really. Don't emotion, please learn the violin play in the next video. It's ridiculous. Okay. I'm going to leave it there, and I hope that that was useful. However you want to use this information, it's completely up to you. I really